Hello again. Russian human rights organisations are looking into claims that the suspects in the murder of opposition figure Boris Nemtsov are being abused in custody. 5 men were arrested over the weekend and are in detention. Andrew Farmer has the latest now on this. Andy, hi. Tell us a bit more about what's being alleged to them.
Well, one of the 5 arrested and key suspect in the Boris Nemtsov murder claims that he was actually tortured into giving his confession. Zaya Dadayev was accused at the weekend and charged of murder after admitting his involvement, but he then claimed that he was tortured, and subsequently, while in prison, he's been examined by the Russian Human Rights Council, a human rights group, and they claimed in their report that he had received bruises on his arms and legs, and also went on to say there are reasons to believe Dadayev confessed under torture. However, we should point out too that during this examination he was also examined by another human rights group called the Public Monitoring Commission, which monitors conditions in prisons, and they said that they believed there was nothing untoward, however said that the injuries he may have received were probably consistent with those he might have received while resisting arrest, and they went on to say that was probably the case for the remaining suspects too, who are in prison in police custody at the moment. Just to remind you who they are, Anzar Gulbashev from the North Caucasus too has been charged with murder. There are 3 more people in prison also from that region, although they have not been charged, pending further inquiries.
Andy, thanks for the update there from central Moscow. On our website, amongst the many and varied stories, as ever, banning vasectomies, tightening abortion rules and restricting access to contraceptives. They're just some of the measures being discussed right now by the Iranian government in a bid to try to triple the country's dwindling population. Find out more if that interests you online from us. Also, too, a story about a boy in Australia being pestered by some very dodgy phone calls after being given the same mobile number as a Melbourne brothel. Poor boy. RT.com for the full story. Works by the street artist Banksy have appeared all over bombed-out parts of Gaza of late. A few weeks ago, we showed you part of a video made by him too, documenting his trip. Well, Banksy's works inspired local Gazans, some of whom joined in. A group of street runners have shot their own video now of what it's like to live amid rubble and bombings. The youngsters say they've got plenty of time on their hands as well, because half of the population in Gaza is unemployed. It's up to 50% there. Almost 12,000 people also need shelter, but their destroyed homes can't be rebuilt because of the difficulty of importing construction materials. And almost 90% of Gaza's water is undrinkable. Belle True travelled then to the war-torn region to meet some of these young street runners.
Some are just 13 years old and all have survived 3 wars. But these young Palestinian teenagers behind me are turning Gaza's post-war apocalyptic landscape into a parkour playground. Now meet Gaza's free-running team. They say their message to the world is to show that they are defiant in the face of occupation and devastation by playing in the ruins of people's homes.
We make movies about parkour to show the world the situation in Gaza, how there are young people with nowhere to live, how we live in bombed-out houses. In the last war, Israel destroyed everything. There is no hope for the future here. We do parkour because it makes us feel free again.
And now they have a message for a particular person, Banksy, Britain's mysterious and anonymous graffiti artist who came to Gaza secretly and painted on the rubble of people's homes to highlight the plight of the 1.8 million people here. And the parkour team, they posing as Banksy's tour guides to the area, jumping and somersaulting over some of the 17,000 homes that have been destroyed and not yet built. They joke that as unemployment here is at 50%, they've got plenty of time to show him around. They highlighted that it's very hard living with just a few hours of electricity every day, with very little drinking water and very little food, under the watchful gaze of the Israeli military in their watchtowers. Some of them want to get out of Gaza so they can have a better future, but for the moment, they will turn this destruction into their